Hello everyone and welcome back to another lesson. In the last lesson we talked about the weak map secret data and we gave an example of how it can be used to hide data and as object also external code cannot access those data unless they are publicly exposed. So which make them safe to hide secret information. So that was the concept of the example that was given in the previous lesson. Moving away from that, I want to talk about privacy in this lesson. Bookmap was intentionally designed for privacy. Now, if you look at that constructor example, you will see that inside it, we have a get method, we have a set method, which were the method by which the data inside that constructor was hidden. And for the fact that we can access it outside by using the by using the as this reference does not mean that an external code can access it the way we are able to access it in that example. So it was intentionally designed for privacy. So you can set, you can get, you can use the hash method and delete method using an object key, but not inspect what is inside. So even if you have an external code, you cannot access what is inside a weak map unless you publicly exposes it. Now, so because weak map was intentionally designed for privacy, there are things that you can do, like you can set. Remember, we had a set method and a get method, so you can set, you can get, hash, and delete using an object key. So you can do all this using the object key that is contained in a weak map, but not inspect what is inside. Now, this was a great tool for simulating private properties in JavaScript classes before private fields were added to the language. So before the standard private field were added to JavaScript, a weak map is a great tool for simulating private properties in JavaScript classes, especially when it comes to hiding maybe data or sensitive information. So this was a great tool for simulating it before private field were added to the language. So this is what make weak map an important aspect of map objects in JavaScript. So moving on from this, we are going to be looking at an entirely different new topic, which is JavaScript loops. JavaScript loops will repeat executing a block of code a number of times. Now, if you look at a couple of different concepts and topics that we've discussed about, like object, array, set, map, you realize that in all of this, we've made use of loop in one way or the other to iterate over the element of any of this that I just mentioned. And what exactly is that loop and why is it useful? It is because of the fact that it allows us to repeat execution of a block of code a number of times. So you want to repeat something for like 10 times, 20 times, 100 times. JavaScript use allows that. So that is what makes it powerful. Instead of doing manual repetition, you can just use loop to keep repeating whatever it is that you want to repeat in a block of code. So loops are fundamental for tasks involving iteration over values. So when you have items or when you have tasks that involves iteration over values, loops are fundamental to them. Loops become handy and very useful when it comes to that. Now, when you have tasks involving iteration over data structures, so let's say you want to do iterations over data structures, loop is very is an ideal fundamental that can be used for a task like that. And also, when you have tasks involving performing an action multiple times. So instead of manual repetition, if you have a task that involves performing an action multiple times, loop is a fundamental concept that can be used for a task like that. Now, we have different types of loop as you are going to be seeing in the examples that we are going to be using in these lessons going forward. So there are different type of loops, like I said, such as the popular one, the for loop, the while loop, the do while loop, the for in loop, the for of loop, and the for each loop. And each of these loop type, they have they have what I would call classification. I mean, how you can use them and situations where they can be used. For example, the for loops can be used on almost anything that accepts iteration in JavaScript, but there are instances where it cannot be used. For example, in object or in array, those ones require a special type of loop, which we are going to be seeing in the example. So its type also determines the scenario or context of where it can be used. And that is what made the difference between each of the loop type that we have in JavaScript. So the first one I'll be talking about is the for loop. The for loop is used when the number of iteration is known. Now you see that if you want to use this loop, there's a condition that needs to be met, and that is the fact that when the number of iteration is known, when you know the number of times when your iterations should run, when the loop should run, then it is a very handy loop to call upon. It consists of an initialization expression one, a condition expression two, and an increment expression three, which means that a for loop always takes three condition: one for initialization, second for condition, and the third for increment expression. So expression one is executed one time before the execution of the code block. Expression two defines the condition for executing the code block, and expression three is executed every time a code block has been executed. So in the next lesson, we'll take a look at an example. Until then, I'll see you.